Welcome back to the Six Pack Dad Tribe interview series. I am Ben Henry. I'm a mentor for the Six Pack Dad Tribe, and I'll be conducting the interview. And then I want to welcome and thank you for being here, Michael Newton, to this episode of this interview series. And Michael, why don't you introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about you and who you are, where you're coming from?
Yeah, I am. It's nice to talk to you, Ben. Um, I am a mid 40s attorney that lives in the state of Utah. I work for a company as in-house counsel and sit on a variety of leadership teams there. Uh, so that's busy. Work is. I'm a busy work guy. Travel quite a bit outside of work. Have a married with three kids, a couple teenagers, and another a bit younger than that. So they keep us busy, and then have some busy kind of ecclesiastical responsibilities as well. So busy guy, but always my health and fitness has always been something that I've cared about and tried to be good at, but candidly have been more unsuccessful, and so found the tribe, and here we are.
Awesome. And you said you're primarily over the youth group in your organization in your ecclesiastical responsibilities. How many youth did you say that you work with on a day-to-day basis?
About 100.
A
Yeah,
hundred kids. Like these are teenagers.
yeah. So kind of lead an entire church congregation, but try to focus on those youth, and somewhere around 100. It ebbs and flows each year, but they're great kids. It's a great joy to be able to be with them and serve them.
And that's all volunteer service that you provide to your community, which is fantastic, very respectable. And when you travel, how often is it like long days of travel? Or are you just like there and back, or what does your travel look like?
It's been quite a bit recently, actually. 1 or 2 weeks a month, 3 to 4 day stretches during the weekday, or during the weeks. Um, so various board leadership meetings, conferences, other offsites, those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So there's definitely been an uptick over the last 6 to 9 months of work related travel, which makes all of this tricky. This past week was traveling and at an event where there was more food than I could ever imagine, and amazing food. And anyway, a fun challenge to navigate in with some of the principles I've learned in the tribe. So
Yeah. That leads us to the next question. So why did you join the tribe? What flipped that switch for you where you said, this is a group I need to be a part of?
yeah, I've always enjoyed exercise, um, especially things like weightlifting. I'm a Peloton fan. Ride the bike. And my wife and I have always tried to eat what I would describe as clean, um, uh, good clean food, but with all of those kind of demands in life, um, I was going the wrong direction. So, for example, over from about a 15-month period between 2024 and 2025, I had put on 20 pounds, and not the good pounds. And despite these efforts, kind of tied to stress and travel and just a lot of things that were happening, and in June of this year, hit a certain uh, we'll call it milestone on the scale, and just thought, okay, you need to be realistic with yourself, and you think you're doing this the right way, but the results, the outcomes that you're seeing are telling you a different story. And you should be honest with yourself and see what else you can do to address this because the direction you're going is not a healthy direction. So, I'd followed Tyson, like many people had followed Tyson on LinkedIn and reached out and said, "Hey, we should have a conversation. I'd love to hear more. You claim to be able to help very busy professionals to do this in a way that's sustainable to kind of recapture their health, and let's have a conversation." So that's how I found the tribe.
Very cool. Very cool. And when did you so you said it was back in the summertime, or how long have you been in the tribe, and what kind of results have you experienced from being here?
Yeah, so I've been in the tribe for probably just a bit over 6 months now. Joined kind of mid-June, I get, and then now we're in January, I guess.
Time
And
flies.
yeah, time flies. Pretty significant results. And So, from a results perspective, it's interesting. If you look at my body weight from that time I weighed in June that I mentioned to kind of we'll call it the end of 2025 when I kind of did a formal body scan to see the change. I'm down 27 pounds. And body fat percentage has gone from roughly 25% to 11%. So I've seen
Wow.
significant yeah. Um, and it's been very interesting because I saw most of that, the actual weight drop between June and August. And then my weight kind of plateaued. And candidly, I was kind of frustrated about it. I was following the principles. My weight was not changing. In August, I did a DEXA scan to see where I was, and I was at 15% body fat. And I thought, okay, that's great. That's significant progress. This is a great place to be for the long term for my health. Um, and then from then through the end of December, my weight stayed the same. And in my head, I thought, man, I'm doing something wrong. Well, did another scan, and it actually turns out by following the principles of the tribe, continuing those for those 4 months, I had lost an additional 7 pounds of body fat and put on 7 pounds of muscle. So my body composition, my weight had stayed the same, but my body composition had changed significantly.
A straight
And
swap.
yeah, it was, and I was kind of blown away. Um, yeah, even so, have seen significant progress, not just with like losing fat, but also gaining some muscle and just feel in a great spot now. And really, I don't have New Year's resolutions around losing weight this year. It's very different now. And I feel like I've got a foundation that I can build on uh, going forward. So,
That's awesome. And it makes sense that you would have lost a lot of that weight in the first little bit as the tribe is focused on first get control of some of the habits and build some of the habits around fitness and exercise, plus your diet and your food, the meals that you eat, what you consume from day to day, which would first primarily focus on eliminating all the fat that I think we just put on ourselves as a result of what we are given as a society to consume every day. And so it makes sense that you would lose the weight first, but then over time it starts to transition and transfer over to the muscle, which is really cool. Well, that's an awesome experience, and that is something I'm sure we all hope to have or wish we could have, which is really cool. What is, can you explain a little bit more about what a DEXA scan is? You talked about getting a DEXA scan.
Yeah, actually have it here. So it's a body scan where you lay down on a thing and somehow this device scans your entire body and measures your body composition, your bone density. It measures all sorts of information about what's happening with your body and uh, data. I found just having that data to be very empowering. Um, so very simple. The place I did it locally took 10 minutes and got those results.
Oh, that's cool. Sorry, I may have lost my camera. I'll try and get back on here in a second, but
The joys of technology.
yeah, it likes to do that to me.
And I might, this may be where you're heading next, but there's a few things from the tribe that I would emphasize have made this, for me, have made this successful. Um, the first part of this is having a dedicated coach. And it's not just the coach saying, these are the things you should be doing, but it's the accountability that comes with it. And knowing that each week I am going to, need to hold myself accountable to another person of the results. How did I eat? How was my exercise? Um, and that was very helpful for me. I found a lot of power in that accountability. And just the coach that I used, his name is Keenan, just great to work with, and set very realistic expectations for someone in my situation. Um, Recognizing busy professional with lots going on in life. So we're setting up systems and habits that are sustainable and actually doable based on that life. Um, and it wasn't go into the gym for 3 hours a day. Uh, it was be smart about how you're exercising and be smart about how you're eating. Um, and I found it to be very sustainable. Um, Through this over the last 6 months, I found that my habits have changed significantly. And I don't think anymore about these things. They just are habitual. And the way I eat, the things I focus on in meals, um, there's no longer a decision of, am I going to exercise? This is just what I do. It's kind of who I am. And um, these habits have become very powerful, and what I think will help to kind of continue with long-term success. As this is just part of who I am now and part of what I do, and it's honestly easy at this point, and something that actually brings a lot of joy as I continue to execute on those things, in small ways every day.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And as you have, um, for anyone who might be considering joining this tribe or trying it out, what would be your recommendation or your insight that you might share with them as they try to make that decision?
A few things. Another unique aspect about my journey is after seeing what was happening to me after 4 or 6 weeks, my wife joined the tribe, which she's not a dad, right? But she saw the power of this and joined, and she has also seen significant results with a coach who has worked with her in understanding that things are different with her as a woman. So I would just add that in as well as something that's been another great benefit. And I share that because um, the tribe is not free. There's a financial cost both on the being a member of the tribe and also restructuring how you eat to be able to prioritize protein and eat healthy vegetables and fruits. These are not the cheap bagged processed foods that you're used to. There's an investment in time. But she and I were out on a walk the other day, and my wife said to me, "This is the best investment we've ever made, like in anything, whether financial or just it's been worth every penny to be able to set this foundation where as a guy in my mid 40s who's maybe not on the upside, maybe going, my health is should be trending in the other direction. I actually feel like I'm in the best shape I've been in ever. And I have a lot of hope that this is going to be sustainable and lead to great longevity and just an ability to really live life. Um, for those who are considering it, I would encourage you to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, is this something I'm really able to execute on my own? For example, if you learn the principles of the tribe, which are not rocket science, frankly, you could probably figure it out with Chat GPT, but can you really execute it on your own? And I could not, and was honest with myself about it, and so made the investment. And I just encourage people to really try to be honest with themselves about, is this something that I can actually do on my own? Or having that accountability partner, having that coach, is that something that's going to kind of be a key aspect of helping me execute? It's not easy. It takes discipline and focus, and you have to be willing to make changes. You need to be at a point in your life where you're willing to actually make the changes. And if you are, it can be very powerful. If you're not, I would expect it to be a source of frustration, because if you're not actually willing to do what you're being taught, you're not going to see the results, right? So those are a few thoughts I'd share.
Wise words, wise words. I failed to mention, so during the months of uh, November and December, we're talking coming out of Halloween with all the leftover candy. We're talking going into Thanksgiving meals. We're talking Christmas parties and desserts and dinners and all that stuff. During that time frame, we as a tribe held a competition to see who can keep the most consistent schedule and stay true to their plan and to the macros of protein and carbs and fats and exercise and all that stuff. And Michael is the straight up first place winner of that entire challenge. So I failed to mention that, but congratulations to you to be the shining example for all of us of how to live a life of consistency and health and fitness. But that's amazing stuff.
Yeah, and look, I would just attribute that to the habits that were formed in those. It wasn't something that was a big deal. It was just like, this is how I live my life now. And I just kept doing it. And you know what? I had an amazing Thanksgiving dinner, and, had pie and ice cream and all of the stuff. But that one meal didn't snowball then into a week of,
Pies and
overeating.
ice cream and stuff.
Yeah, I said to myself, look, it's okay to go enjoy this. This is part of life. I'm going to go enjoy an amazing meal with my family. And we're going to have a great time together. And I'm just not going to worry about it. And I'm going to trust that the habits I've built and these principles are going to work. And I actually lost a pound that week despite that meal. And that was very reaffirming. And the same thing happened with the Christmas holidays and New Year's, where didn't gain any weight, and still enjoyed that time with family and friends, and let myself go a little bit on those holidays. But the other days, other than those kind of one meals here and there, I was dug in. But also, like, on those days, okay, I knew I was going to be having that meal. So that the mornings of, I structured my workouts where I was kind of really burning or killing my muscles so that I was in a state of muscle growth and needing calories to build muscle, and had burned a lot, some extra calories to be ready in advance of that. And I think that helped too, to kind of direct those kind of excess calories towards that as opposed to just fat. So, and credit to the coaches and the tribe for giving us tips and some counsel around that to set us up for success.
Another great insight for anyone considering joining the tribe and what you have access to and what you can get out of it.
Yeah.
Well, Michael, this has been a fantastic interview with you and hearing your thoughts and your experience. Thank you for being here with us. Once again, Michael Newton coming out of Utah, uh, a legal advisor, and I'm Ben Henry, a mentor for the tribe. Thanks for all tuning in. And Michael, thanks for being here.
You bet. Good to talk to you, Ben.